Hello, my good people. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy, glad, and excited to be here. It's quite a while since I came here for a talk for some good times, and I've really missed this place. I've missed you guys. It's only that in life, at times things get busy, you have a lot of things to attend to, but so far so good. I'm glad, I'm excited for my new people in this place, my new subscribers. You're so much welcome to Looking at Life with Latez. This is a good place, a place we can talk, have fun, get to enlighten each other, get to learn, and all that. And for my family, my subscribers, my supporters, thank you so much for coming back. Welcome back. And it's another good time that we are just here for a talk, for a sit down, for like for just a good talk. And today is a time that I want us to ask ourselves several questions in life and maybe get to better our life in one way or another. I always say that we are always here to learn. We are always here to better our lives because that is all that we are to do in looking at life with Latez. Looking at life issues, enlightening each other, learning, getting to share experiences and all that. Today I want us to talk about discipline. I know discipline is a word that we grow up hearing from our very tender age. And after we get to have some understanding of one thing or another as young as maybe even before we get to 1 year old, this is a word that gets to our ears each now and then. The word discipline. And you always hear parents, teachers say of a disciplined child and a child that is indisciplined. You always hear people say that child has not been disciplined well. That child is very indisciplined. So this is something that starts at a very young age, at a very tender age. And I know discipline, we all know what discipline is. Because discipline is one thing that revolves in our lives each and every day. Because anytime we ever get to hear of discipline, there's things that we get to hear together with the same word. Things to do with rules, things to do with regulations, things to do with maybe set guidelines and such things. And the reason why at times we have rules, regulations, and guidelines and all that is that we can follow them. And it's by following them we call someone disciplined. It's by doing what you're intended to do at a certain given time will term you as disciplined. No, I think that is the best description of discipline. Doing what you're supposed to do at a given time and doing it as it's supposed to be done. That's the best definition of discipline. I know we can define discipline in very many aspects and in very many accords, but I just want us to simplify it as simple as that. A point where you can be able to do what you're intended to do at a given time, at a given point. Because discipline is one thing that revolves all round in our lives. And as I was saying, as young as we started growing up, maybe even before we joined school, and even maybe mostly when we got to join school, we went to a school in our primary school and we were told of how good it is to be disciplined, of how it's good to be a disciplined child, of the things you need to do to be disciplined. If it's getting to school early, if it's keeping quiet in the class, if it's being modesty when you're wearing maybe the clothes you're wearing and all that. There are a lot that entails in discipline in according to an institution and all that. When we went to high school, things changed. And now there are other aspects that maybe you weren't there in the younger age. And now maybe in high school, the rules changed. Getting to campus college, the things were different. And now in life, there are also things that we need to have discipline in. Discipline in. That's why we even have rules in this country, and that's why at times we even have the government, which at times gets to set things that should be done in a particular way. When it goes to institution we work in, there are rules that should be followed in those institutions. Even in our families, we even have rules that we follow in family setups. Maybe in your home, there are certain things that you shouldn't do. There are certain way you shouldn't behave. These are guidelines that are usually set in each and every kind of setup, in each and every maybe institution, in a country, in a school setup. Rules, regulations are usually set in very many arenas and in very many calibers. And we call someone disciplined, someone who is able to be apt to these rules, who is apt to these regulations, who is apt to these kind of commands that are usually needed of them. And one thing I can say Discipline is one thing that is very key. And if you ever get to know someone who is disciplined, at times you'll just look on how they behave, you get to look on how maybe they talk, you get to look on how they carry out themselves, and you'll get to term this person as disciplined or not. You know, even in adulthood, you'll get to judge someone of how he or she was brought up in relation to how what they do. You hear someone say, that lady was not brought up well. According to how she behaves, it tells much of how she was brought up. And the reason why we judge these things from our where we were brought up and all that, it's cause there are some things that are usually instilled in us as young as that catheter age, as young as maybe that primary level, that when you're at home with your parents and all that. There are things that were instilled in me when I was that young, and maybe in one or another, they have never parted from me. Because I grew up knowing that is what I should be doing. I grew up being disciplined in a certain way that if it comes to this is what I'm supposed to do. Even if I don't do it, in one or another, that is indiscipline. And in one or another, that is not what I'm mandated to do. And it gets to bother me and it gets to maybe get to disturb me and all that. So, as we always term as discipline is something that begins from that young age. And discipline is one thing that is very key. Discipline is one thing that is very important. And at times, it's good that when we were in school, teachers were there to ensure that we are disciplined. There were all kind of authorities that are there to ensure that we are disciplined and all that. And maybe after you get out of school regulation and all that, there's a certain freedom that kicks in. There's a certain freedom that gets to just get into our minds, get into our life doings that you feel that no one is restricting me. And these are, if you remember that time that you left high school and you were like, finally, I'm into freedom. Finally, I can do what I want. Finally, I can choose my, maybe I can go and do what I want in relation to my passion, in relation to what I love, because there's no one who is preventing me. You shouldn't dress in a certain way, you shouldn't maybe have your hair done in a certain way just because you're in high school and all that. And there's one thing I was asking myself, the reason why at times when we get so indisciplined in our adulthood and you just look at someone and you can't just even admire how they carry out their life, it's because of that freedom. And it's a high time that you get to realize that when you on your own, I think it's the time that you should even be more disciplined, not when you're governed by someone. That's how you get to tell whether you personally you are disciplined. And these are the questions that I wanted to ask ourselves, that you yourself, when you ever sit down, are there things that you sit and like write them down? You may not write them down critically, but you have them in your mind that these are the things that I should do, and these are my don'ts. These are my do's, these are my don'ts. And are these things that you really up to them, up to doing them? Because discipline is one thing that is very key. And you ever look at these successful people in life, those people are disciplined. Disciplined in all aspects. Not all, you get there some people who are successful and they are in those high places, and at times you get to hear of how they talk and all that. You feel no, that is not someone who is disciplined and all that. But it requires a lot of discipline at times to be successful in life, to be in those high places and respected levels. It takes a lot of discipline, and discipline entails a lot. And we get to grow with it. You know, by the time you get into that managerial place and all that, and you be disciplined, it started when you were very small employee, when you were maybe in internship and all that. It started very early. And it's by growing in our discipline, we get to those high places. You know, at times we are admiring these high levels of maybe in our workplaces and in life, and one or another we are very indisciplined. Do you ever at times feel troubled when you see someone who is totally indisciplined in life? People who just don't care. You know, they are like, after all, I'm a grown up. You know, you'll be in a work setup. These are the guidelines, these are the rules, these are the rules, and you see someone just, you see the things that you've been told not to do. That's what they do, even more. And it gets to disturb my mind because you're not a young person to be reminded, like a toddler, to keep on being reminded, you know, you should do this, you should do this, you should wear this when coming to work, you should come early, you should have this, and this when you're to your workplace. And it always disturbs my mind. Why? You have to keep being reminded. You have to keep being told, do this, do this, do this, do this. You only made it today. You only made it tomorrow. You only made it that day. Does it ever bother someone when someone is being told again and again? You're a grown up one, and you have to be reminded this tomorrow. Be reminded that day. Be reminded. It always gets to disturb my mind because discipline is something that is very easy. It's something that you wake up and tell yourself, you know what? I don't want these things to ever be repeated in my ears. This is one thing that I don't want to ever kind of repeat and all that. And you always find that. That's where you find in each and every country there are the rules that govern a country. You go to the roads, there's rules that should be followed in roads, and you always see people breaking these rules. You've been told you shouldn't do this, and this. You shouldn't do this and this, and then that's what you do. I don't know why at times in adulthood people find it so fulfilling to be in this print. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's to like fulfill that time when you were young and you had rules that you couldn't break because you were in school, because you had strict governance and all that. I don't know why, but I don't know why people find it so okay to be to be indisciplined in adulthood, because it at times doesn't feel like how people get in so much indiscipline, and one or another it affects you personally, because at times this kind of traits that you develop in that you want to be always be indisciplined. You're indisciplined today, indisciplined tomorrow, in various aspects of life. Discipline is that time when you really strict to a certain thing. This is what should be done, and I'm opting to do it, and I'm up to doing it. That's what at times we term discipline as. Because I should be, maybe you have a meeting. That meeting is starting at 8 a.m. And in one or another, you know very well it's right to be in that meeting at 8 a.m. Maybe it's a meeting that you usually have maybe each and every Wednesday. And it has been your trend, you always come late. And I don't know whether it will always bother you at a certain given time and you're like, can't I make it a trend to be now attending these meetings, Sari? It's something that you intend within your mind. It's something that you purpose to be doing. Because I always say that in discipline at times, it will always affect a person. Because you in this world, we are in a place where we always live with people. And as much as I may develop a trait of being indisciplined, in one or another, I'll be hurting myself, but will also be hurting someone else. Because in one or another, maybe my indiscipline will get to affect someone. Maybe it's in a workplace. If I become indisciplined in the workplace, I may affect myself because in one or another, I may lose that job. And I also affect the person who has employed me. Because the time I'm being indisciplined and all that, I'm affecting the work setup and all that. If at all you indiscipline on the roads, one thing, you may cause an accident that can affect you, and an accident can affect someone else. This is how life should be. As much as you want to be indisciplined, because maybe you feel that is what you feel good at doing, you should always be considerate of that other person. My indiscipline, is it affecting someone else? My don't careness, because there are people who just don't care. You've been told to do this. That is what they want to do, and I don't know why. Because I always say, even if you brought up being an indisciplined child, there's a time that comes in life and you're like, you don't want to follow what you taught, but at least start want to develop in a life that is now on you, a life that is now not what I grew up knowing, but now what I'm starting up as I, me, and myself. So it's a nudge of how much we should be considerate of other people. As much as you don't want to be disciplined, always sit down and consider and get to ask yourself, my indiscipline, is it affecting someone? My indiscipline, is it there out causing someone kind of pain and all that? Am I affecting someone's emotion by being this much indisciplined? Because there's a lot that calls for discipline. You have to be focused. At times you have to mind other people. You have to be considerate of other people. Discipline, one thing, it involves all kind of life. There's discipline when it comes to how you talk to people, how you react to people. There's discipline in according to how you talk. There's discipline according to how you handle issues. There's even emotional discipline and all that. At times, how you handle your emotions. There's some people who will always be like waiting for someone to talk to them and just burst into words, burst into abuses and all that. Do you have a discipline when it comes to your emotions? Is there a way you can be able to like calm down your emotions in a situation and people will be like, that person is disciplined. Yes, there was a room for you to act in whichever way you could have acted, but you were able to handle your emotions to a point of everything else turned out cool just because of your reaction, of how you reacted to a certain thing and all that. And that's why I'm saying discipline involves a lot of things. How you handle everything in life, how you talk to people, how you dress, how you carry out things, how at times you respond to people after they have told you to do a certain favor or maybe to have a certain thing done. It tells us of how much discipline you are. How at times you even talk to elders. There's some people who even don't know to talk to elders. Someone who is the age of your parents, in one or another, there's a certain respect that you should always give them. You will see of people getting to abuse someone who is not even of your age. It's good at times to be considerate. There's a way you respond to someone of your age, and there's a way you respond to someone who is above your age. There's that kind of respect you accord to someone just because they are older than you. And it tells much of whether you're disciplined or you're not. At times, it's always very good to be considerate. Get to consider how you talk to people, how you relate to people, how you respond to people, how at times you even dress. Gets to tell us of how disciplined you are. There's some dress code that you can wear when you're with your peers or when you're going out with your peers, but there are other dress codes that you can wear when you're going out in a congregation that involves parents and all that. And that one will always tell us whether you're disciplined or not. Because there's no way I'll be going maybe to a place where I know, even if it's not my mom or my dad who will be there will be parents of another person, of a friend, and all that. There's a way I can dress, and they'll start even questioning the kind of morals that I have. Because not all dress codes that fits everywhere. Always get to ask, where are we going? And who will be in that place? Okay. And such things, they always get to tell you of how you're brought up, of how disciplined you are, of how moral you are. Because these are some of the things that at times we do, and they better our relation with the people we live with. You don't just live, like there's nothing that you ever care about. That is being so unconsiderate. That is being at times so self-centered that all that your concern is about yourself. After all, you don't care. After all, you're not bothered. It tells as much of yourself. And I always say at times, you always get to know someone according to her reactions, according to her relations, according to how she carries herself out. We always get to tell the kind of person that you are. And these are things that we don't learn at times. In school, we used to learn them and all that. But now, after we are out of school, we are grown ups, there are things you have to sit down and remind yourself every morning. There are things you have to keep on like putting them and actualizing them each and every day because they help a lot. They really help a lot. You give people you live with and a very easy time. You get very good and easy cohesion with people. You always be at peace with people. Not everyday quarrels because of how chaotic you are to live with. It's good to be simple to relate to. Don't be so chaotic by your funny behaviors, by your funny reactions. It never goes well. It never at times comes out so well. Indiscipline is not something that you should be proud of. There are people who are always proud about being indisciplined. You always find it as a very good thing, but it's not. It never appears so well. It's not a beautiful thing. It actually is a very ugly thing. And you always get people at the back of their minds asking themselves, why can't you do better? Why can't you be disciplined? How are you brought up? At times we're even tarnishing the names of our parents because some of us we were brought up so well by our parents, but we have come out and become so irresponsible, so indisciplined, so immoral, to a point that we even tarnish the name of our parents. At times you'll be like, did this person even ever go through a school setup? Is there a time that this person ever sat and there's something that was ever instilled in their mind? Because some of the reactions, some of the way people behave here out, some of the way people talk. You get to social media and you hear how people talk anyhow, how people just address people in authority, people who are maybe leaders in churches and all that, how you get to respond to them. And you're like, is it the right thing? Is this the right thing that you should do? Eh, hmm. It never beats logic. At times, I don't know or whether I'm the only one who at times get disturbed when I see someone who is just There's some people you talk anyhowly, you behave anyhowly, you dress anyhowly, you just do things anyhowly, and you're like, you are a mature person. You should be responsible. You growing up to be maybe a parent. You growing up to be a role model to someone. Is that the life that you want? Is that like what you want your children or maybe a generation that is coming to like emulate? I don't know whether we ever ask ourselves these questions. Do I ever hurt people? How do I ever talk to people? Do people like how I talk to them? Eh? How I relate to people? Are they happy? I don't know whether you ever ask yourself these questions, of which you should. In adulthood, there are things that are very crucial and are very key, especially in relation to people. We say life is all about people. You cannot make it on your own. As much as you may be rich, as much as you may be very entitled, there's no way you can make it on your own. You need people, and people need to be talked to well, people need to be respected, you need to be disciplined to have good relationships and all that. And even when it comes even to our families, as a husband, you need to be disciplined. As a wife, you need to be disciplined. It's when you're disciplined, you'll avoid these issues of at times of being unfaithful and unfaithful partner. You avoid these issues of at times home breakages and all that. I always say, if at all I get married as a woman and I purpose that I'll be disciplined, discipline entails a lot. I purpose that in my role as a mother, in my role as a wife, I'll always start out to be disciplined. Another, I'll curb some of these issues that at times are bringing divorces and breakups and all that because I'm disciplined. There's no way I'll be disciplined as a woman, as a wife, and I'll be there out entertaining some of these to queer relationships, knowing very well I have a husband, knowing very well that I'm married. As a husband, the same. There's no you'd be very okay and contented. You have relationships right, left, and center. You have a wife, you have a family, and you still call yourself a husband. Discipline is beaten in each and every arena and in each and every aspect. It gets to all kind of places. When it comes even to discipline in our finances and all that, there's no way you have a business, and that's why at times even businesses gets to fail. You have a business, yes, but you're never disciplined of how you handle your money. Yes, at times you have a business, you get to get things from suppliers, you fail to pay your suppliers. At times you not even concerned of whether these kind of negligence that at times we develop. And the worst thing is, at times it starts from one thing. It will start from family, it extends to your business, it comes to your finances, it comes maybe even to the church, to the society, it extends. When you become reluctant on one aspect of your life, you just opt to be indisciplined, it will continue, and let alone it will just come to affect you. Discipline costs nothing. It actually benefits us. We gain a lot. We are the first beneficiary of our own discipline. When I stand out today and I purpose to be disciplined, one thing, I better my family. I better my relationship with people. When it comes to my business, in my career and all that, I better it. When it comes to my finances, I better it. It betters each and every aspect of your life. Discipline, even when it comes to aspects of God and all that. That's why at times, discipline in your tithes, discipline in going to church, discipline in how you relate to people in church and all that. Discipline cuts across everything. It's an aspect that we carry wherever we go. May it be in our workplace, may it be in our churches, may it be in the society, may it be here out, may it be everywhere. Discipline is called for everywhere. If there's something that we need to carry everywhere we go, it's discipline. And it really helps us actually. As I am saying, before we benefit the other second person, it always starts with ourselves. We are the first beneficiary of discipline. And when you ever get to realize that, you start instilling some rules and regulations that you should follow as a person. Because I don't think that there is anyone who ever hates being at peace. I don't think. I think as a human being, we all have peace, unless maybe there's something that is wrong with someone who wouldn't be there looking out for peace. And the moment you start having a disciplined life, you start carrying out your life in a disciplined manner, you will get to learn that you will always be at peace. Because who are you quarreling with? You are disciplined in what you should be doing. As I said, discipline is doing what you're supposed to do at a certain given time. That is all that we call discipline. If I'm supposed to be doing a certain thing, that is where I am. If I'm supposed to be at work by maybe 8 in the morning and I'm there, I'm supposed to be out of work at a certain given time. I'm out. I'm supposed to be at home at a certain given time. I'm there. Maybe I have a meeting somewhere. I'm supposed to be at the meeting at a certain given time. I'm there. By the end of the day, where will my distress come from? I'll be at peace. Because in one or another, I've ensured that everything that I was supposed to do at that day, I've done it at its given time. You reduce yourself a lot of distress, you reduce yourself a lot of, at times, commotion with people that arises in one or another. So if at all you ever want peace in life, just try. You can never be up to discipline, but keep trying. Keep trying, keep trying. In one or another, always remember that you're the first beneficiary of discipline. And to be a successor, to be an achiever in this life, discipline has to come as number one. And I think you ever listen to someone who has achieved something, someone who is maybe who has achieved in business, someone who has achieved in a certain area or setup of anything. This is a person who always mention the word discipline. This motivational mom, you listen to these motivational speakers. Anytime they get to speak, they will never forget the word discipline. Why? Because discipline is doing what you're supposed to do at a certain given time. You know, for us, we always fighting doing the wrong things at a certain given time. The time that I should be where I'm where. The time I should be doing this, I'm doing this. What is expected of me is not what I'm doing. And that's why at times we get to feel we get to fail in many situations, in many instances, just because we are not doing what we are supposed to do at certain given times. And I think that is all about discipline. And maybe to just but mention but a few, what are the benefits of being disciplined? Being disciplined comes with a lot of benefits, and there are things we cannot list them all, but maybe what can we say is the chosen but few of things that we benefit from being disciplined. One and foremost is self-confidence and self-esteem. You know, there's no one who will always be questioning you because of doing things the right way, and in one or another you become you have a very strong self-esteem. Just because you have chosen the right thing, you develop that confidence within yourself, because you have stood to what you should do. You never told by someone, you just do it out of you. It develops and it raises our self-esteem. You become very confident of yourself, and this is something that we should really be up to increase our self-esteem, to ensure that we can stand for ourselves. Just because you've taught yourself, you don't do things because you're being taught to. You do things because you have chosen, this is the path, this is what I should do. It raises our self-esteem and it gives us that self-confidence within ourselves. That is one. One, at times having very strong connection with people. I know even as a person, you always want to be together with someone who is disciplined. Yes, even in any place you ever go, you get leaders, or maybe you get to see maybe managers, people who are in authority. They always love to delegate things to people who are disciplined. There's no one who hates a relation with someone who is disciplined. So this is another benefit. Discipline will always give you good relation with people, good relation with your peers, good relation with your leaders, good relation to management, good relation. Yes, discipline will always attract good relation. So if you always have issues with people, you always have people with readers, have people with people who are in authority, those people you relate to, you always have issues, that will also tell us that you're not disciplined. Yes. We always even saw this in school. Teachers always went well with pupils or with students who are very good disciplined. Yeah. And the only students who had good relation with teachers were the disciplined children. So even in life, it goes the same way. Discipline will give you good relation with people. So if you want to better your relationship with people, be disciplined. Instill discipline in your life aspects. In everything that you do, ensure that you're disciplined. And something else that will help us, and something else that discipline gets to help us with, is personal development. Personal development in this aspect, that you know who you are and you know what you want. Yes. You are always after doing the right thing. In one or another, you get to develop yourself, because you never idle just doing nothing. If at all it's something that was needed of you, you always conclude it at a certain given time. If it's something you've been assigned, you always ensure that you do it. So in one or another, you become very personal developed, because there's nothing that you ever miss out. You've been given a certain assignment, you always do it. You've been given a certain law in a certain place, you always ensure that you do it the right way. And by this, you become very developed personally because you're really up to working out something the best way. You want to give out the best. And in one or another, you might not be benefiting the person who is receiving these surveys or and all that, but you are also helping yourself. You're developing yourself. Just because each and every opportunity you always grab it with that jovial aspect, you're like not seeing anything as a burden, but you're up to doing it as a responsibility. So in one or another, you get to develop yourself personally. And something else that discipline gives us is financial stability. You cannot be stable financially if at all you don't have discipline on how you do things, on how you handle your money. You get your money as salary today, you don't know how to manage your money, you are not disciplined on the how you should utilize your money. You realize that you have used all your money for luxury and you've forgotten you have basic needs and all that. In one or another, you never be stable financially. So discipline also helps us to have a financial stability. So if you ever have issues in in managing your finances, you still have a long way to go in discipline, because financial stability comes with a lot of discipline. And you get to ask someone you ever desire their life and maybe the levels they have gotten to have in aspects of life relating to finances and income and all that. Get to ask them. They'll give you of their storyline about discipline of finances. So if at all you want financial stability, just know it comes from a lot of discipline. So that is another good benefit of having discipline. You'll have financial stability in life. What else? And discipline also gives us self-control. Because as I said, in things to do with emotional discipline and all that, there's a way someone will talk to me, and according to my morals and according to my accord, I'll be like, no, this is someone that I should not respond to. I just prefer to be quiet. And by doing things, I develop self-control. You know, if at all you always respond to anyone who talks to you, anyhow, without even having a second thought, if someone does to me something, I'm never there to sit down and ask myself, why did this person tell me? And what's the best way that I can respond to this person? You never ask yourself such kind of questions. In one or another, you don't have control of yourself. And it's by developing discipline of how you talk to people, how you relate to people, it helps you to raise your self-control. So discipline is one thing that will give us a lot of self-control, because you are at times able to control your anger, you are able to control your emotions, you are able to control your feelings, you're able to control one thing or another. So discipline really gives us a lot of self-control. So something else, if at all you have issues with your self-control, also get to question your self-discipline. Get to question, do you have discipline over your emotions? Do you have discipline over your anger? If someone ever angers you, do you ever sit down to ask yourself a question or another? All you do is act, is just throw names, throw words, and all that. So discipline gives us a lot of self-control. And also something else that we can say discipline gives us is focus. Focus in life. Yes. It will give you a certain kind of concentration and focus if you're disciplined. And this can even tell us the reason why the students who are disciplined in school were always the best performer, were always the leading in academics and all that. It's because discipline gives you concentration. Discipline gives you focus. Even in work setup, you see the people who get appraisals, people who get to be promoted, they are the disciplined people. Because in one another, you cannot be disciplined and you get distraction right, left, and center. Focus comes from discipline. It's when you're disciplined in one or another, you will always know what you should be doing at a certain given time. It will not be class time, it will not be maybe study time, and I don't know you're doing what and what and what. So discipline will give us concentration in life, it gives us a lot of focus. And this we can buy it from our school life. Any child, any student who was very disciplined, they were a performer. They were good performers because they were able to concentrate in their studies and they had focus on what they want. And it gets to go by and by. So it's a nudge to each and everyone. As a human being, as an adult especially, learn to be disciplined. Get to know how good it is to be disciplined. One, especially if you're a parent, and if you're aspiring to be a parent, this is something that we should really develop, because this is how you'll be able to raise your child. And there's nothing good like a child who have grown up being disciplined. As much as they may try to be crooked through the way, there's always something in the back of their mind that always reminds them, but my mom used to say this, but my dad used to tell me to do this. So it's not just for us, for the generation that we are bringing up, and also even for they are the second person who you are relating to. Because as I said, in this life you cannot make it on your own. Be considerate of yourself, and also be very much considerate of the second person. And if not that, also be considerate of the generation you are bringing up. Even if I may not have a child personally, but my peers are having children, there are some things that I'll do in front of those children in one or another, and they may get to buy. So, as much as you may say, you know what, I'm not a mom to anyone, I'm not a dad to anyone, you influence a person or two. So, your discipline gets to affect someone. Your indiscipline gets to affect someone. So, just know that as we get to grow up, there's things that we should emulate, and they will really be up to the help of us individuals and also the society. And all we want in life is having good cohesion with everyone. And I always say, when our families are happy, we extend it to our churches, to our workplaces, and even to the entire society. And that's maybe the country and all that. So it's an urge to each and everyone. Discipline is so simple. Be disciplined. Just be disciplined. Even if no one is watching, even if no one is up to is like up to you, you should do, just have a personal initiative. Get to have some rules that you should have in life. As Leah, I should do this. As Leah, I should not do this. As Leah, I should do this. As Leah, I should not do this. You see, as simple as that. And when we do that, we better our lives, and that's all we are after. And until next time, bye bye, love you guys.